When I walked in this evening, I said, wow, I better be on my A game, because this room is absolutely amazing. You really, just give yourselves all a big round of applause. This is amazing. In this week's Torah portion, Parshat Achrei and Kedoshim, we find one of the most famous statements in the Torah. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor like yourself. For many years I taught history in New York City, and there was a section on the three religions that rose out of the Middle East: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And there was a section that talked about what were the most important tenets of each religion. So for Judaism, it talks about prayer, charity, and then for Christianity it says that one of their most important tenets is love thy neighbor like thyself. I'm like, wait a second, that's ours, that belongs to us. But of course, they co-opted large sections of our religion. Of course, I think they forgot the don't kill the Jews thing, because that never really made it into their book. But in any case, love thy neighbor like thyself, it's one of our most famous statements in the Torah. It's been co-opted by many other religions. It has a very interesting context, though. The context is as follows. The verse says, Lo sikom v'lo sitor es b'nei amecha. You shall not take revenge, and you shall not bear a grudge against the people of your nation. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, you shall love your fellow like yourself. Ani Hashem, I am Hashem. So what is this revenge and grudge? Revenge is as follows. It's snowing outside. There's 7 or 8 inches of snow on the ground, and my neighbor's got one of those massive, powerful snow blowers, and I go over and knock on his door, and I say, hey, can I borrow your snow blower? It's got like 7 inches of snow out here, and if I gotta do this myself with a shovel, it'll take me an hour. With your snow blower, it'll take me 4 minutes. And he says to me, nope. Now, of course, in America, we're accustomed to being like, no, you can't because it's broken. No, you can't, it's my brother's house. He's just like, nope. And I'm like, really? I can't borrow your snowblower? He's like, nope. Okay, I go home. A week later, the sun is out, it's shining. Of course, here in Detroit, but a week later, after there's 7 inches of snow, it's like 70 degrees outside. And he's trying to fix up some spring cleaning. He's got some shingles that are coming off, and he wants to come to my house. He knocks on my door. Hey, Leiby, I got some shingles that are coming off. Can I borrow your hammer? And I say to him, nope. I can't borrow your hammer? Nope. That would be revenge, right? He said no to me, I said no to him. Beautiful, revenge. Revenge is sweet. And then there's bearing a grudge. He comes to me and says, Lady, can I borrow your hammer? And I say, of course you can borrow my hammer. I'm a good neighbor. And good neighbors lend things to their neighbors. That's called bearing a grudge. I gave him the hammer, but I made sure to put a little barb in there. So the Torah first says, don't take revenge, don't bear a grudge, and then you shall love your fellow like yourself. How did that come in here? The Torah should be like, don't take revenge, don't bear a grudge, reconcile with your friend. But it says, love your neighbor like yourself. How does this explain the connection? There was a great sage named Rabbi Wasserman, who was the leader of a yeshiva called Burnham, and in the 1930s he came to the United States to raise funds for his yeshiva. He was not very successful, although he was a great Torah scholar. He was not very successful at raising funds here in America. He came back a couple times. He actually went back. The war had already started. He went back to be with his students in their time of crisis, and he was murdered by the Nazis in the early years of the Holocaust. An amazing individual. And he came with one of his students to the house of a very wealthy American Jewish philanthropist. And the person welcomes them in, they sit down, and the rabbi explains the whole story with the yeshiva. They're doing amazing things over there, and they just need a little bit of funds, whatever. And this man was incredibly wealthy, and he could easily written out a big check. But after the rabbi presented the whole situation, he says, Rabbi, thank you so much for stopping in. At this time, we're directing our charities elsewhere. And he ushers them to the door. So the young student who had walked with Rabbi Wasserman and brought him to this house was incensed. How could he say no? He didn't give us anything, nothing, not $100, not $1,000. He could have given us a check written out, a check easily supporting the yeshiva for an entire year. The budgets back then were minuscule. And Rabbi Elchanan could see that he was incensed. He bent down. Rabbi Elchanan was actually a very tall person. He says, I see you're angry. What's getting you so angry? He says, what do you mean this guy gave you nothing? He's got so much money. He didn't give you a penny. You're such a great rabbi for him. It's like a slap in the face. Rabbi Wasserman said, Moshe was given a commandment by God to go find Bezalel and ask Bezalel to build the temple of God. Now imagine Moshe went down the street and said to somebody, "Excuse me, are you Bezalel?" And I would say, "No, I'm Bob." Would Moshe get angry and say, "Why are you Bezalel?" No, he's not Bezalel. He goes to the next guy, "You Bezalel?" "No, I'm Phil." Okay, he wouldn't get angry at them. They're just not the person who's meant to do that job. There's no reason to get angry at them. This wealthy man was clearly not the person who was meant to do the job. I'm not going to get angry at him. Love your neighbor like yourself. Do you get angry at yourself when you can't lend yourself a snowblower? Does your right hand get angry at your left hand and say, "Left hand, how come you don't have a snowblower?" No, my left hand's not the thing to do the job. It just doesn't have the snowblower to give me. That's not its function. I don't get angry at my left hand for not lending my right hand a snowblower. If I look at my fellow Jew as myself and he doesn't lend me the snowblower, I don't get angry at him. It just doesn't. That's not what's there to do the function. Someone gets angry at me in shul. I sit down, I'm a neighbor in a new shul. Some guy, "Hey, you're in my seat, get out." Whoa. So I can get angry at him, but do I get angry at my left foot when it sprains itself? I'm playing basketball, my left foot sprains. My rest of my body gets angry at my left foot. "What's wrong with you? Why are you sprained? Now for the rest of us are going to be living around for a week and a half. What's wrong with you?" No, I don't get angry at myself for spraining my left foot. If I see my fellow like myself, I see other Jews as an extension of me, and someone's nasty to me in shul, I don't get angry at him, I feel bad for him. What must he be going through in his life that when I sit down in his seat, "Get out of my seat, you're in my seat." "Oh, I'm sorry. You must be going through something very painful. I feel like you're an extension of me. I'm sorry. We're all in pain together." When you see the other Jew as an extension of you, and he says something nasty to you, he refuses to lend you his snowblower or his hammer or whatever it is, we don't get angry. It's an extension of myself. The Torah is saying, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." Love your neighbor like yourself as a model for understanding how not to get angry when other people say or do things that are painful to you. See them as an extension of yourself. You don't get angry at your right foot for spraining itself. Don't get angry at another Jew when he says something hurtful to you. Feel the pain he must be feeling and get beyond it. Thank you very much. Have a good week.